Welcome back to WCSN's live coverage of the 2006 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. We are live from Aarhus, Denmark. The individual all-around final for women coming up next. My name is Bart Connor, former world and Olympic champion in gymnastics, and I'm proud to be joined today on this coverage by Tasha Schweikert, world gold medalist, NCAA champion, two-time Olympian. Glad to have you again, Tasha.
It's great to be back, Bart.
At the top of the show, we have to start off with the breaking news. Chelsea Memel, the American and the reigning world all-around champion, has just scratched from this competition, the all-around competition today, due to an injured right shoulder. She has withdrawn from today's competition. Ashley Priest of Hamilton, Ohio, will now compete in the all-around in place of Memel. She will join her American teammate Yana Beeger of Coconut Creek, Florida, as the two Americans contesting for an all-around medal today. Here is the quote just moments ago from Chelsea Memel. "This is a difficult decision for me to make, but it's the right one for me physically. My right shoulder is very sore and swollen. It happened yesterday on the uneven bars as we saw her fall from the uneven bars in the women's team competition. She says, I do not have full range of motion, and as a result, I would not able to be at my best." So you're looking right now at the individual all-around start list, and you notice there Beeger, Ferrari, Priest. Priest is in place of Memel there. Niestor, Huffner, Hibbs, Beth Tweddle, the women who will begin in the official Olympic order on the vault. Now, Chelsea Memel had injured her right shoulder at the 2006 Pacific Alliance Championships this past April, and this may be an aggravation of that old injury. She also, not long ago, sprained her ankle pretty severely, and when we heard that she was scratching from the competition, we were concerned that perhaps it was an aggravation of the ankle injury. But we wish her well in her recovery. She does say that if she can get the range of motion back and the pain and swelling down to minimal, that she might even be able to compete in the individual event finals, where she's qualified to compete for the Americans on the bars tomorrow here. So we may not have seen all of Chelsea Memel's performances at these World Championships, but for the time being, she is out of the all-around competition. Now, Tasha, you've been in this situation. Back in 1998, you were back home training. You got a last-minute call to step up and compete for the American women after there was an injury on the team for the American Cup competition, and you experienced what it's like to get that emergency phone call, hey, can you get ready? Can you get here in time to be in the meet and represent the United States? So just talk a little bit about the mindset of what you might be going through at that point.
Well, the 1998 American Cup was my first big international debut. I was called in to perform within the week. I was very nervous because I had only heard of big-time names competing in the American Cup. I mean, it's such a prestigious event.
Absolutely.
Regardless, I believe in taking advantage of every wonderful opportunity that comes my way. So I immediately got my mental game prepared and believed that I was good enough to be in this competition. We went there, I performed, went all out, didn't hold back at all, and ended up finishing second place. And right then, finishing second at a prestigious meet like that just boosted my confidence even more to know that I'm capable of competing at this level.
There are some similarities to your situation and some glaring differences as well. Ashley Priest did compete here in the all-around competition in the qualifying round. As you look there at Yana Beeger, she gets ready to march out. That is her mother, Andrea Beeger, who is her coach. Ashley did compete in the all-around here, took 9th place, so she was the 3rd highest of the Americans, and according to the rules, the top 24 all-arounders from the qualifying round get to compete in the all-around finals, but no more than 2 from any one country. So Ashley Priest, even though she was 9th in the world, basically, she wasn't good enough. She was the 3rd best American, so she would not have had the chance to compete. But she got the call here as a result of Chelsea Memel scratching. So Chelsea Memel, interestingly enough, this is a very generous young lady, because she might have been able to struggle through this competition, but to help her teammate a little bit, she stepped aside knowing that she might not be at her peak performance level, and to give an enormous opportunity for a young lady, the youngest member of the U.S. women's team, Ashley Priest, a chance to compete in the World Championship all-around finals. That is the story with the American athletes. There are 24 athletes, the best gymnasts in the world, to compete for the all-around gold, silver, and bronze medal. One of the favorites has to be Vanessa Ferrari from Italy. She's just 15 years of age. Member of the European Teen Champions from Italy this year. Qualified second into the all-around final. She was actually hoping to compete against Nastia Liukin, who is also not competing here as a result of an ankle injury. Now, Nastia Liukin competed for the U.S. in the team competition just on the uneven bars because she sprained her ankle recently and was not up to par to compete on the other apparatus. She did her part to help the U.S. team to their silver medal finish, but has not been able to contend for an all-around medal here. We have several people contributing to our research and stats, and we want to thank them all for giving us a ton of information about what is happening behind the scenes at these World Championships, and all the good folks at International Gymnast Magazine, Paul Zert, Dwight Normile, and a big shout out to Amanda Turner for her enormous help in collecting some biographical material, statistics, and data. She has a lot of folks working with her: John Crumlish, Christian Ivanov, Simona Ivanov, Pat Warren, Sasha Kruzilov, Sasha Ivankov, Cecile Conqueteau, Laurent Landy, and many thanks to Leslie King at USA Gymnastics for keeping us up to speed with the latest breaking news at these World Gymnastics Championships. A lot of people helping us out, Tasha, with breaking news about what's going on. Happy to have that information. Thank you, everybody. Today it's the women's all-around competition. It means all women will compete on all four apparatus. This is essentially a four-ring circus going simultaneously. The top qualifying athletes get what they call the Olympic order, and that group includes Jana Beger, Ashley Priest from the United States, Vanessa Ferrari, Steliana Nistor of Romania, Lais Souza from Brazil, and Beth Tweddle of Great Britain. This is what they call the one-touch warm-up. The gymnasts have been warming up. They get basically 30 seconds to touch the apparatus and get a sense of the nerves and the lighting and the whole atmosphere. This is a pretty tense time, as you can see on the face of these young ladies. Tasha, you've been there a lot of times. What's going through your mind during this sort of one-touch situation?
You know, I mean, obviously nerves. Nerves is what's going on in your mind. The thing with the individual all-around competition that's a lot more difficult is that you don't have your team around you.
Right.
You don't have that comfort zone of everyone supporting you. You feel kind of alone out there, but at the same time, you know, you're excited and you just got to get the job done. And especially for Chelsea, competing on so many events yesterday and coming in tonight, it definitely wears on the body. So you definitely have to get yourself back up again for a second night of all-around competition, which is very hard to do, but that's the test of a true competitor.
So far at these championships, for those of you who weren't able to tune in earlier, the Chinese team have won all 3 gold medals to this point. Chinese women were the most consistent, and I don't know that I've ever said that statement at a gymnastics meet in my life. They were the most consistent in the team competition, so they won over the American women. And Chinese men won over the Japanese men in the team competition, and just a little more than an hour ago, Yang Wei, after being several times a silver medalist at world and Olympic competition, finally ended up with his World Championship gold medal. So China, the 2 Chinese athletes competing in the women's competition today are Zhou Zhuo and Pang Pan, and they will start on the uneven bars where the Chinese are masters. So we will get a glimpse of their potential right away. This World Championship is in the middle of this quadrennium, so the Olympics in 2004 seem like a distant past, and the Olympics in Beijing are about 650 days away. So there still is a time for you to make a comeback. What do you say?
I'm going to start training tonight, Bart.
All right, we start right on the beat. Daria Zgoda from Ukraine.
Beautiful leap so far. She's got great flexibility.
Zgoda qualified 15th.
Oh. That's an extremely hard series to stay on the beam, a round-off back layout. She does it well, but it's very easy to fall off on that skill.
Connecting the round-off to the layout adds a lot of variables, doesn't it, in terms of balance?
Yes, especially when you're twisting on the beam, having to straighten up and do a straight backflip.
The Ukrainian team, always a favorite because the quality of the gymnastics is just exquisite. There's so much beauty in the movement and the technique from these young ladies. Zgoda, just 16 years of age. The last Ukrainian who won a medal in the all-around the Worlds was Victoria Karpenka, who ironically has moved to Bulgaria and competes for them. She competed here, in fact.
Daria setting up for the dismount. Round off double pike dismount. Nice landing.
On the uneven bars at the 2005 European Championships, Zgoda earned a bronze medal in the qualifying round here. Her best score on the balance beam actually was a 15.3, so she did not do as well in the team final for Ukraine. Okay, here's one of the favorites. This young lady could win it all today. Vanessa Ferrari. First of all, you got to love that name. If she's not fast, I'll be disappointed. Every Ferrari is fast. The 15-year-old from Brixia, Enrico Casella, is her coach. She qualified in second place, so she is a legitimate contender for a medal here. She will turn 16 next month on the 10th of November. You see her on the vault. 14.425 was her score in the qualifying round.
Yurchenko double twist, nicely done. Just a couple steps in the landing.
She never quite came to a stop. She's still moving.
She really didn't.
Stop for a second.
But she had great amplitude and height, as you can see here. She comes in strong on the horse, gets a great push off the horse, and just gives up a few steps. Look at the distance there, especially for a small girl like Vanessa. That's great.
That vault is judged from a 5.8 start value included into the complete score. No Italian woman has ever won a medal at the World Championships, so big hopes for Vanessa Ferrari, who helped lead her team to the European Championship gold medal earlier this year. Just as we have seen with the men's competition, there are some judging lags. This new system of scoring is very complex, technical. It was hard before, and they've made it next to impossible for the judges to tabulate the correct scores. So occasionally, there are some delays. To the ball.
Nice Yurchenko 1.5 from Ashley Priest from the United States. She has great amplitude off the horse. You see there how she actually lands slightly to the left side of the mat. The gymnast is supposed to land directly in between the white and the mat, and that may be a small deduction.
Nicely done for Ashley, the youngest member of the U.S. team at just 16 years of age. U.S. Championships this year, she was 6th in the all-around. She has had some international experience. A World Cup event in Lyon this year, she won the balance beam, but nothing like the opportunity that has presented itself for her today when Chelsea Memel scratched and Ashley Priest got called up. Yana Beeger now from the United States on the vault.
Yana with a Yurchenko 1.5. Big change from yesterday. Yesterday she actually competed that same vault and landed short and actually had to take a fall.
That was a disappointment for the American team. She scored only 13.95 in the team final, but today much better, 14.725 for Biga for that vault.
Big improvement.
The 18-year-old Zhou Zhuoru, the top all-arounder for China in the qualification round. She was 8th place. She was an alternate to the Olympic team in 2004. The only Chinese woman to win an all-around world championship medal is Zhang Nan, won a bronze in the 2003 Worlds in Anaheim.
Beautiful lines. She swings so flawlessly. Nice Jaeger. Beautiful pack salto. Stay.
Oh. Good save.
It's times like that where you're cringing, using every muscle in your stomach to pull your legs back.
Wow. Isn't this spectacular?
Beautiful dismount. What a fighter.
Well done for the 18-year-old from Beijing. She scored a 15.275 in the qualifying round. Shows you how good the Chinese team. She didn't even get called up to do the bars in the team final, where 3 up and 3 scores count. So she is wonderful there, and yet they have others that are even better. Store now from Romania. She's a 17-year-old from Sibiu. Oh.
Yurchenko double twist. Good power off the horse, but you do see a lot of leg bend in the air. Her on the replay, she gets in. Big knee bend as she starts the twist.
She missed most of 2005 with an injury. The Romanian team in what is considered a transition period. Most of their stars have retired. They're super juniors waiting in the wings, but they will probably debut on the international scene next year. So the important goal for the Romanians this year was just to qualify through to the next year's World Championships and start to rebuild towards the Olympics in Beijing. Typically during this mid-cycle is when you see the Romanian team really in a rebuilding stage. The old guard has moved on, and the new guard is not quite old enough to step up. So we expect bigger things from the Romanians here next year, and of course heading into Beijing. Anna Pavlova, very popular gymnast from Russia. Hard to believe you can say she's been around a while. She is a very complete gymnast. Waiting for her turn on the beam. She led Russia to their bronze medal. The team competition, they were pleased with that yesterday. She's 19 years of age. We'll see her also in the vault and the balance beam finals throughout the rest of our live coverage from these World Championships the next 2 days from Denmark.
Anna's known for her nice flexibility and lines on the balance beam.
Oh!
There's another signature skill. She actually missed it. She usually holds the handstand in a nice split. But with her flexibility and her nice lines, even a little mistake like that doesn't really look so bad.
And on a full turn. Keep in mind, with the new scoring, the deduction for falling is 0.8 of a point, whether you fall on a simple full turn or a full twisting backflip. It's a big hit to fall. Oh! There she fell on an anodi. That's a very hard skill because you're going backwards, you're twisting, and you're blind to the beam when you stand up. Not your typical beam set from Anna. Beautiful full twisting swing down. Typically, Russia is very successful at World Championships. In the last 15 years, 7 World All-Around medals have been won. Of course, 3 All-Around gold medals were won by Svetlana Horkina in 97, 2001, and 2003. Horkina being one of the most popular and enduring names in the history of Russian gymnastics. She has retired, has a baby, and moving on with her life, so life goes on. Zhuo Ruzhou, 15.15 for that effort on the bars. Once again, the Chinese. You gotta love that. You gotta. They're so happy to see the cameras, always smiling. Whether they win or not, they are always smiling, happy to show their gymnastics to the public, and I think that adds to their popularity. This is Sandra from Romania on bars. He's Basha. She hit the set a little choppy. We're going to get a decent score. Like Bart was saying earlier, the scoring takes a little longer because now you have 2 panels of judges having to add up the score versus 1 with 2 categories of scoring. Holly Dykes from Australia now on the beam. Dykes is the 16-year-old from Gold Coast. In the qualifying round, she scored a 14.85 on beam. Holly has a really calm composure on this event. She doesn't move too quick, but when she does, she has really nice lines and finishes every movement she does. And she has a feel for the beam, doesn't she? There's a sense of sort of soft landing and absorption into the beam. Yes, almost cat-like. But her coach, Valery Golodinsky, says he wished she had a little more of the tiger in her eyes during competition. Wants her to be a little more aggressive because she has been inconsistent in the past. Nice round off the back for the dismount. You know, the only Australian women to win a World All-Around medal was last year, in fact, Monette Rousseau, 2005. She was supposed to be here, but a few weeks ago, she suffered a broken leg. So it's not just the Americans who are coping with injuries. The top Russian gymnast, Lozhetko, is out. Chelsea Memel is out. And the top Australian, Monette Rousseau. So several gymnasts on the sidelines or not here in Denmark at all. That seems to be typical for a World Championship, certainly in the middle of the quadrennium. Right.
you don't want to bring your top gymnasts out, even if they're minimally injured, because you need them to be ready for the World Championships 1 year out from the Olympics and for the Olympic Games. It's also a good opportunity to give to other gymnasts that may not have the opportunity to compete in Olympic Games for the country.
Very important strategic element, really. Bring along a few younger athletes who might be a factor in upcoming world and Olympic competition. Well, this is 26-year-old Isabel Severino from Paris. She qualified in 11th place into these all-around finals. A two-time Olympian, world bronze medalist on the uneven bars in '96. She retired, went off to Cirque du Soleil. She did all kinds of other things. She's even been in a movie recently. She was in the movie Stick It this past spring as a gymnastics and body double for the lead actress Missy Peregrine. So Severino, a unique talent in many ways. Uh-oh. A simple move. Hop to handstand.
That's unfortunate. She had a beautiful routine going so far. Severino's very dynamic on this event. Oh.
Now she's known to do a very complex release move, a 1.5 twister called a def or Hristakieva. She did not do that, so she played a little safe earlier in the routine. So I'm really surprised to see her miss twice in this exercise. French women also in much of a transition year finished 10th place in the team competition here in Aarhus.
Beautiful dismount.
An enormously popular young lady, Isabel Severino, but boy, it just didn't work at all today.
You see there, she actually let go of the low bar a little bit too early, which made her hands not high enough to catch the high bar. And knocked to the floor.
Pretty amazing that she was world caliber and left the sport and came back. That's pretty rare in women's gymnastics. Anna Pavlova, her score 14.225. Disappointment on the beam. Daria Jura from Australia.
Beautiful Jaeger. Daria has very nice lines in this event. You see her toes stay perfectly together. Haven't come apart one bit. Nice Ginger. Beautiful dismount with an awesome stick.
Fantastic.
That definitely adds an exclamation point to the routine. See how she gets nice height on that Ginger.
Scored a 275 in the qualifying. Not as well in the team final, only a 14.5. Expect a good score here. You saw her salute the judges before she performed. 15.1, not bad. She does it very enthusiastically. She said she does it on purpose. It's kind of a way to wake herself up. Plus, she said, all in all, I'd like to show off. I guess every gymnast has a little of that in them, don't they? All right, from China, Pang Pan, the 18-year-old, qualified 10th into this all-around final. Oh, past that handstand.
Beautiful. The Chinese, even with a mistake, still make this event look flawless.
All of those invert and pirouetting skills are just impeccable. Full twisting double.
Nice stick.
Now, she did a smart move in the team competition. She played it safe a little bit on the balance beam, so watered down her routine a little bit, did a regular punch front instead of a punch front with a half. Here you can see that was the place where she was way over on that handstand, and typically the judges take a pretty strong deduction if you don't come near that handstand.
Yes, they want you to finish in straight handstand with the bar, or at least 10 degrees within each direction, and she clearly finished almost 90 degrees on handstand.
We'll see what the judges come up with on that score. She had plenty of difficulty in the routine otherwise with those other pirouetting skills. Ariella Kaislin from Switzerland, the last performer on the beam in this first rotation. She's 18 years of age from Lucerne. Eric and Cécile Demey, formerly of France, moved to Switzerland and now coach her there. She qualified 16th into this final.
Beautiful round-off layout.
Check that. I said she's 18. She just turned 19 a week ago here, so happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Wow.
Nice dismount. That was a round-off double pike. She had a great landing on it.
It was her highest scoring event in the qualifying round, 15.075. It's a good event for her. That will bring to close the first of 4 rotations as the athletes march to their next event. Some of these performances we'll see are on tape. Beth Tweddle.
Very nice Yurchenko 1.5 twist.
Tweddle is 21 years of age, and she's the best and most successful British gymnast in their history, reigning European champion on the uneven bars.
Just watching Beth year after year, every year she seems to get better. She impresses me.
And she improved a little bit from her qualifying score of 8.14.4. She was 14.55 there today. So Beth Tweddle off to a good start in the all-around competition.
You announcing the gymnast ages bar is just killing me. I mean, I'm 21 and I thought I had an excuse, but it doesn't look like it anymore, does it?
No, it's not.
We have 26, 21, 22.
Wait, Oksana Chusovitina, she's 31. She's competing here, my friend.
31.
Yes, as you see, I'm Bart Connor along with world gold medalist Tasha Schweikert calling the action live from from Denmark, Aarhus, Denmark, the World Gymnastics Championships. The score on the bars for Pang Pang Pan puts her in second place, a 15.425. So as the athletes march to their next event, we will update the scores as soon as we get them. 4 rotations of competition. The athletes compete on all 4 events. Scores are totaled, and we will determine our all-around champions.
See the Chinese here doing their 32nd on the balance beam.
The first American woman to win the gold medal at the World Championships in Gymnastics was Kim Zemeskel, the world all-around medal. The first medal was back in 1978, Marcia Frederick. She won on the uneven bars. But the first all-around gold medal for the United States ever in World Championship competition was Kim Zemeskel. And then in 1993 and 94, Shannon Miller won it back-to-back. That's pretty rare. 95, Lilia Podkopayeva won it, and then followed up with the Olympic victory the next year. Svetlana Horkina won it in 97. Here are the standings to this point. Holly Dykes, after that very precise routine on the beam, is first. Pang Panpan second. Zhuo Zhou third. Daria Jora fourth. Jana Bieger from the United States is in eighth. Ashley Preece, the last-minute substitution for Chelsea Memel, currently in 13th place. World champions of note. 1997, Svetlana Horkina won her first of 3 titles. 99, Maria Olaru from Romania won. Horkina won in 2001 in Ghent, Belgium, 2003 in Anaheim. And then Chelsea Memel brought it back for the United States, edging out her teammate Nastia Liukin by 1/1000th of a point. It was really a computational error, otherwise they would have basically tied at the World Championships last year in Australia. And as you were not with us at the top of the show, Chelsea Memel is scratched from this competition, the all-around competition today. We hope to see her in the individual apparatus finals over the next couple of days. Ashley Preece from the United States got the call to step up and compete in the place of Memel. The leader in the all-around right now, Holly Dykes, after that really clean routine on the balance beam. Now to the floor.
Nice triple turn. Start the routine off. That's a very difficult dance on it. Clean landing on her pike to pull in for the first pass. Holly has an air about her when she does her gymnastics. It's very pleasing to the eye. Very soft hands and fluid movements. Tuck front full, I guess it's just to get the value of the individual skill. She just did a double turn with the leg up into a jump. That is very hard. Normally gymnasts will turn and not have the leg at 90, and she clearly did, which is very impressive.
Such polish with this young lady, just 16 years of age.
Beautiful double pike to finish out the routine.
If there's one critique, it's that the level of difficulty of tumbling was rather mediocre in this routine, but you can't knock the presentation.
I agree. Maybe the middle pass wasn't up to difficulty comparatively to other gymnasts in the competition, but the dance was definitely stellar.
2006, she won the Commonwealth Games on floor exercise. She was third in the all-around, so a bright future ahead for young Holly Dykes And she is our leader.
Vanessa Ferrari from Italy, checking bars and make sure it's set for her to go.
Blaine Wilson and I talked about this during the men's competition. Everybody has their own sort of blend of water, chalk, sugar water, but they like to get the bars just right. How did you like it, Tasha, when you compete at this level?
I personally love the bars looser than everyone else. I'd always throw to the coaches, loosen the cables. So it was, Schweikert's going, we're putting the cables down. And just spraying a little water, because sometimes it could get too dry and chalky, where it feels a little slippery. Vanessa set to go.
She's capable of a big score here. Scored a 15.275 in the qualification round, her highest score. Wow! Nice Comaneci release move.
Vanessa swings beautifully. Very quick but tight, and wonderful technique. Nice double layout. Knew exactly where that landing was.
She sure did.
Here you see her doing front stalders with her hands in an inverted position. Dismount.
Interesting quote from her coach, Enrico Casella. He said they studied Nastia Liukin's routines. Holly Dykes, as you see her score there on the floor, 14.55, lower because of the lower degree of difficulty for sure. They said they studied Nastia Liukin's routines, and when they got here they were disappointed that she was injured and could not compete because they wanted to compete against the best in the world. So
beautiful Yurchenko double twist.
Laura Campos, 5.8 difficulty value for this. Campos from Spain.
Quite different than we saw from yesterday's competition. You see here, she gets a great block, stays nice and tight in the air. Huge improvement for Laura Campos.
Would be a big moment here for Ashley Priest. The last-minute substitute for Chelsea Memel. As you see, Mary Lee Tracy, her personal coach, giving her last-minute instructions. Priest in 13th place in the all-around after the first rotation. He's about 1.2 points behind the leader, Holly Dykes. The other American competing today, Jana Bieger, is in 8th. Vanessa Ferrari, who was 7th in the all-around after the first rotation. After that beautiful bar routine. Looking strong. Ashley Priest now.
Beautiful.
Boy, can she swing. Oh, nice.
Nice pirouetting. Huge to Tkachev.
Her highest scoring event in the qualification, 15.45, was on this event, the bars.
Ashley's definitely a little firecracker on this event. She just pops off the bar.
You can see why it's her favorite event. Wow. Aggressive.
Awesome routine.
Way to go for 16-year-old Ashley Priest.
You see she finishes the pirouette. Almost perfect handstand, exactly what the judge wants to see.
What form? This is a good angle to see if there's leg separation on any of the release moves. That was good.
Nice dismount.
I expect a big score there.
The door opened for opportunity for Ashley, and I say she's ready to take advantage of it, Bart.
Looking pretty good right now. She'll move up from that 13th place for sure. Hong Soo-jong now from the People's Republic of Korea. She is an outstanding vaulter. Look at that.
2.5 twist. That's an extremely hard vault, and we're only going to see a couple of those be competed at this World Championships. Although she does take a step on the landing, you can't help but to appreciate the high level of that skill. It's just so hard to perform, but she does it nicely. Ashley looks happy.
She'll be happy with that score. 15.425 puts her in third in the all-around, but we're midpoint through this second rotation. She scored a 15.45 in the qualifying round. So, all right. Steliana Nistor now of Romania to the bars.
Very nice form from Steliana.
'17th place after the first rotation, the vault. Typically, the Romanians are outstanding on balance beam and floor. Not too bad here on the bar.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. You know, she's swinging extremely well. Nice dismount.
I expect her to move up with that performance.
An aerial view of the pirouetting and got it exactly on handstand. It's interesting because we can actually see there where she did her salto to the low bar. We see a little bit of leg separation, but the judges can't see that from their angle. So it's kind of a plus that the judges don't have video playback as of in football or something.
Well, you know, they can actually these days, if there's an inquiry about the difficulty value of a score, they can go to the videotape and you can inquire. But now you got to pay to inquire. You have to put up some money if you want to. And if your inquiry is accepted, you get your money back. If it's not, you don't. How about that? That's a little added incentive. You want to think that over a little bit before you question the judges. Izbasha, the other Romanian, will be ready to start on the beam. Nistor happy with her effort over there. Two Romanians have won world all-around titles. Aurelia Dobre back in 1987, Maria Oladu in 1999. Which famous Romanian gymnast did not actually win the world all-around championship? I'll give you a hint. It's my wife.
Nadia?
Nadia won 9 Olympic medals, but she never managed to win the world all-around title.
That's interesting.
Was either not in her best shape or she had an injury, as she did in 1979 at the World Championships. Of course, back in that area, the World Championships happened every 4 years, and then they switched to every 2 years. Now there's a World Championship every year.
Right.
So it's a little bit of an asterisk in all the statistics because most of the records in terms of world medals have been accomplished in the last 10 years because there have been more World Championship opportunities.
Well, timing is everything, Bart, but I have to say she did pretty well with the timing as far as her Olympic medals go.
Yeah, 9 Olympic medals, that's pretty good. These Basha's very lovely on this event. The Romanians were very strong in the qualifying round on balance beam, as can be expected.
Beam is a very hard event to be consistent on, and Romanians are definitely one that stick out in your head when it comes to staying on the beam at all costs. Nice triple fold down. Dismount with a beautiful stick. Once again, this is one of those super hard dismounts where you're taking a risk of, if you don't complete the 3 twists around, the judges can really hit you hard with that. But she did very nicely.
Is Basha not bad? 15.475. Only 8 gymnasts actually in the team final event actually did the complete all-around competition, and so of the 8 gymnasts, she was the highest all-arounder in yesterday's team competition. So congratulations to her. Team competition, a little bit different strategy because you're not necessarily looking for best all-arounders, but for the best combination of athletes, 3 up on each event to get the best team total. This competition tends to drag a little bit when the judges get hung up on a score, doesn't it?
I would have to say so. Like you were saying in the event where the Romanian competed in the all-around yesterday and was the winner, it's a very interesting dichotomy, especially for the mental game of the gymnast, because one day you might compete in the team competition and only do one event, yet you might compete in the all-around the next day. And so keeping a great mindset and sticking with the game plan, okay, I'm doing 1 or 2 events today, but I'm doing all-around tomorrow, it's very challenging sometimes.
How did you find your way through that maze?
Well, you get training, of course, on the side, but whatever training you can get, you really got to take advantage of that, because you're knowing for the first night you're only going to go compete 1 event, and you got to take care of business on the other 3 the next day.
2-time world bronze medalist on the uneven bars, Beth Tweddle now from England. Wow. Nice.
Beautiful combination.
Wow.
Little save there, but
oh no. Oh.
That's one of those skills where I like to call it a living on the edge skill.
Right.
Because you literally want to catch this skill right at the point where it's either you're going to be on or be off. That's the point where this skill looks the most magnificent and huge. You catch too close in that skill and it looks like a mistake. But
right. Well, she scored a 15.675 in the qualifying round.
Oh no, another mistake there.
This is unfortunate. Qualified 4th to the all-around final, so a real consideration for a medal here. Unfortunately, that will go away with those mistakes on the bars. Boy, she got off to such a great start with that release combination. What happened here, do you think?
I think she really wanted to make it huge. With that skill, you want to catch it literally where your fingertips are almost to the point where you can't catch, but you want to be so far, you get a great swing out of it. And I think she overestimated the kick of her toes to the ceiling and tried to go too big.
A lot of people gasp when they see her land on her stomach like that. She's falling from nearly 10 feet in the air, and yet these gymnasts are in such incredible shape, and they're used to landing. They know how to catch themselves, and so it looks like a disaster, and yet she just bounces right back up, and she's fine. We've all been there, haven't we, Taj?
That's right. I did a skill similar to that, actually out of a free hip, and I'd fall a lot. And you do get used to falling that way.
But that's the difference with the age factor, because you keep falling, but when you get older, you don't get up as fast. So just keep that in mind when you consider your comeback, Tasha. Right. We saw the impeccable Chinese gymnast on the balance beam. That was really what clinched the team title for them here in the World Championships. Let's see if the momentum can continue.
Nice sheep jump. Front aerial to a back tuck. Great connection between those two.
She scored a 15.55 in the team final, a clutch performance, even modified her routine slightly to make sure that the Chinese had a solid routine. She's off today, isn't she? Yeah.
It's hard when you start the routine and you're off in the beginning. It's really, really hard to get back in the groove. Oh, that's tough. She had a wonderful performance yesterday.
I hate to say it, but this is kind of what we have come to expect for the last decade or so from the Chinese gymnasts. Magical performance quality, but not necessarily consistency. That's why it was such a surprise to see them win the team competition based on their consistency. Oh, that's unfortunate.
That skill's very hard to perform because she does the split jump and actually throws the head back where you're completely blind to the beam.
Beth Tweddle very disappointed with that 14.7 on the bars. Not what we have come to expect from the world bronze medalist.
Yana Bieger on the bars. Dynamic start so far. Oh, another save. Nice high release move.
It was higher than she expected. It was out there.
I think Yana's doing a pretty good job so far, considering this isn't one of her best events. Nice solid routine.
She did score a 15.5 in the qualifying round. That was her highest score. She does a lot of difficulty. Sometimes you can find execution deductions here and there, like split on the legs, casting to the handstand. This angle is a good place to catch those minor form breaks. And boy,
she fought hard for that.
You got to admire her gutsiness, because that was right before this really difficult stall to reverse heck. You ever get hung up on a handstand before that big release?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And I think it makes it worse because you have so much time to think about what you're going to do.
Well, she gutted through that routine. The 16-year-old, originally born in Germany. Her mother and coach, Andrea, Olympian for West Germany. Now she lives in Florida, competes for the U.S. 14.8, a disappointment for China. Pang Pan Pan. What can you say about this young lady? 31 years of age, from Tashkent, Uzbekistan. Oksana Chusovitina, now a citizen of Germany and competing for Germany in these World Championships. There's just no one else like her in the world of gymnastics.
I'm literally in awe when I watch her. That's just unheard of. I give her ultimate respect for what she does. not only does she compete at this high level, she does it well.
She does it well. Qualified 9th place into the all-around final. She's competing for the first time for Germany. She received her German citizenship just a few weeks before the competition. She's won 9 world medals and 1 Olympic gold back in 1992. First World Championships in '91. She won 2 gold medals, 1 with the team and 1 on the floor exercise.
I feel like every time we see Oksana, she looks stronger and stronger. She's in amazing shape.
Oh, isn't that unfortunate?
That's tough.
On one of the easier skills in the routine. Well, it's a tricky skill, though, isn't it?
Very tricky. Not considerably hard, but one of those skills, if you do it, it's very cool and adds a little flair to the beam routine. Nice dismount.
She has a young son. She moved to Germany in 2002 from Uzbekistan because her son needed treatment for leukemia. She's been living in Germany and competing for Germany to help pay for her son's medical treatments. Alisher is doing well, we're happy to say, and Oksana continues to be an inspiration for the entire gymnastics world with her competitiveness and her warm personal strength. We wish her well and better luck in the rest of this competition.
Opens up with a 2.5 twist, punch front full. Nicely done.
You saw Kaitlyn on the beam earlier. Fifth in the all-around after the first rotation. She had a 15.075 there, so good for her.
I'm guessing this is huge for the Swiss. You don't normally see too many Swiss gymnasts up at the top.
Back to the last World Championships in 2005, she was 22nd in the all-around. That's normally where you see them in the rankings. She does have 2 coaches who recently moved to Switzerland from France, the Demays, Eric and Cecile.
Nice double pike. Solid routine.
.1435 her score, ranks her 11th in the all-around to this point. You hear the marching music in the background. The athletes move to their next rotation, and we, as soon as we can, we'll get a look at the standings to this point. Jana Bieger's score on the bars, 15.35.
It's a very nice score for Jana.
It was, and she put the arm on it when she had to. Good for her. Here are the standings. Vanessa Ferrari with a 4/10 of a point lead over Pang Pan, who fell from the beam. Holly Dykes, Daria Jura, Jana Bieger in 5th. Ashley Priest, who the last-minute substitute for Chelsea Memel, in 6th. So the Americans looking pretty well right now. Isbasha in 7th. Zhou Zhuoru 8th for China.
I always thought the one-touch warm-up was interesting because you hurry to wait. You hurry to 30 seconds and warm up to stand there for 15 minutes to wait your turn.
There's the leader in the all-around, Vanessa Ferrari. The top group of all-arounders take to the balance beam right now, the make-or-break event in pretty much every women's gymnastics competition. What was your mindset on the beam? Did you like to be aggressive or calm, or how did you work that out mentally?
I'm going to be honest with you, Bart. Beam is my least favorite event.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I'm guessing that's the case with a lot of women.
I'm sure it is. But, no, I actually was more aggressive in the meets on most of the skills than I was in practice. And for some reason, I willed myself to stay on the beam. I went up there and seemed to be consistent most of the time. Magic happened when I went on the beam sometimes. I'd do a skill, and in practice, any given day I would have fallen off, but somehow in the meet I magically stayed on. So
I'm guessing the story is usually the reverse of that. You can make it every day in the gym, but somehow in the meet. So perhaps that's something about your own personal makeup.
Possibly. Or genetically. Thank you, Mom and Dad. That was a joke. Not really. Stuff like that doesn't come from genetics. I really think it's great in this World Championships that they try to keep the countries, individual competitors, in the same rotation. A lot of times it doesn't happen, and you might be on the balance beam while your American teammate, although an individual competition, may be across the arena on the bars.
Well, actually, the way it works out in this all-around final, it's the top 6 stay together. So it just so happens that those teammates kind of were grouped together. It's a complete coincidence, but it is advantageous for the athletes to compete together. We are ready now for the second half of the competition here, the Women's All-Around Championship, live from Aarhus, Denmark. I'm Bart Connor along with Tasha Schweikert. We have just completed the first half of the competition. The top group of gymnasts have competed on the vault and the bars, and now we'll go to the all-too-critical balance beam. Ashley Priest, the replacement for Chelsea Memo, will be first to go. Did you like going first after the one-touch warm-up? You're fresh, you're not waiting around. That's an advantage in some ways, isn't it?
You're still warm and ready to go.
Currently in 6th place in the all-around, Ashley Priest.
Ashley's great on this event. Very dynamic and quick movements. Something the judges like to see. Beautiful turn. Nice sheep jump.
She fell off the balance beam in the qualification round, only scored a 14.25, so she was not selected to compete in the team final for the United States.
Ashley has a confidence about her on this event that you can see she's so dynamic and literally puts her feet where she wants them on the beam and is not going to let up. Beautiful. Just the dismount left. Nice round up to the pike with a great landing. That's going to be a huge score.
Outstanding effort for Ashley Priest.
She's got to be happy with that one.
What an opportunity. It just sort of unfolded that she got the call to replace Chelsea Memo, and she is making the most of it. In 6th in the all-around, and she just nailed a critical balance beam routine. Way to go. Danielle Hippolito on the vault for Brazil. Hippolito currently in 12th place in the all-around.
Yurchenko full.
It was not a very good vault, was it?
Not at all.
And low degree of difficulty.
I'm still confused as to why she chose to compete this vault tonight.
You know, it's interesting. I think she registered that she was going to try to do a double twister or a 1.5 twister. I can't quite see the scoreboard, but I don't believe that's what she intended to do. And you could tell she was a little off in her knees, so we'll see how that's reflected in the score.
Nice opening mount.
Daria Jura from Australia.
Very nice combination pass. As you were saying, Daria loves to play to the audience, and you can see a little bit of her sassy style coming out in some of the stands.
She was born in Russia, moved to Australia in 1997. Oh, nice.
Nice pass. It's a very difficult pass. She does a 2.5 twist to a punch front full, and when you land the 2.5, you have to be set up in the right position to do the front full as beautifully as she completed that.
She began gymnastics because both of her parents were coaches.
Oh, nice finish.
Boy, what polish.
Stellar performance.
The 16-year-old living in Perth, Australia, coached by Martine George and Nikolai Lapchin. Nice effort.
Gets up nice, 2.5 to the punch front full. Beautifully done.
Fourth place in the all-around coming into that performance. And that was clean.
She's happy. I love when gymnasts smile and wave to the camera.
I have to admit, when I watched the U.S. women yesterday, of course, it was a disappointment that they didn't. 15.325 for Ashley Priest on the beam. That puts her in second place in the all-around, but some of the top performers have yet to go, of course. Good for her. I noticed there was a lot of stress, and they looked a little tired, and the American women, particularly Chelsea Memo, now that we find out that she actually had a shoulder injury, it's understandable that she wasn't all smiles and waves during the team competition yesterday. We wish her well on her recovery, and she can be proud that her replacement, Ashley Priest, is doing her part for the U.S. team. But it really is nice to see on the sidelines the gymnasts having a good time and trying to at least fend off some of the pressure, because it's pretty intense.
Oh yeah, you can't help but to smile right back at them.
I always felt that that just took the edge off. If you can just kind of smile and occasionally look up off the floor and, you know, catch a glimpse of your parents in the stands or your coach. Oh.
That's unfortunate. That was Yurchenko 1.5 from Ariella.
And she's had a good meet. We saw her do very well on the beam and reasonably well on the floor. Unfortunate.
She gets in good. It looks here as everything is going okay. Starts to actually open her hips a bit too much, and she might not have got the height that she thought she got, and had to sit that one down.
15.275 for Daria Jura. Some people call her Dasha. So that puts her currently first in the all-around. Partway through the third of 4 rotations, Isabel Severino. Let's see how she comes back from that disappointing uneven bars performance. She is known to be spectacular on the floor.
Beautiful pike pull in to open the routine. Nice triple full.
Boy, did she drop out of that.
She finishes the 3 twists before the 4 feet above the floor.
Oh, beautiful.
Nice. You see great tumbling and beautiful dance. It's definitely the complete package that you want on the floor.
2005, she won the gold medal at the European Championships on the floor.
You see the crowd actually clapping with her and engaging into her floor routine. That's great.
Gymnastics fans will recognize the movement, the choreography by Adriana Pop, the former Romanian rhythmic gymnast who lives in Marseille, France, and coaches these young ladies on choreography. So the style is a signature Pop routine, popular with the crowd. What a comeback after a disaster, unfortunately, on the uneven bars.
I think it's great. She really engages the crowd into her floor routine and smiles, and when you get them to clap for you, it really helps with the adrenaline, and especially helps you get your last pass when you're a little fatigued.
Yeah, they're clapping for you. It gives you a little juice, doesn't it? She was 16th in the all-around 10 years ago at the Olympics in Atlanta, 96. That's remarkable. We've seen quite a few gymnasts extend their careers these days beyond the typical sort of retirement age of 20, 21. It's exciting to see her doing extremely well at the elite level at the age of 26. Good for Isabel Severino. Holly Dykes getting set for the vault, currently in 3rd place in the all-around. Vanessa Ferrari of Italy is in 1st. 4/10 behind her is Pan. And then a 0.5 of a point behind her is Holly Dykes. It's extremely close at the top.
Beautiful Yurchenko 1.5.
Looked like she stepped out of the line of the vaulting horse. You could see in the background that A score, 5.5, is the difficulty rating for this vault. Beautiful form.
The only problem is right there. The judges actually, now that they have lines in the mats, you can actually see them. The gymnast skis over to the side.
Pan now. In 2nd place, 4/10 of a point behind the leader, Ferrari.
Beautiful 2.5 punch run full.
One of her best events. Ironically, she missed it in the prelims, only scored a 14.325, but did much better in the team final with a 15.425.
This is some very exciting choreography for the Chinese. Usually don't see this much energy.
I mentioned the choreography of Adriana Pope, who worked with Isabel Severino. Adriana also travels to China and works with their team on presentation, and it really has shown in the last 3 or 4 years the quality of their routines and their presentation is a lot sassier than it used to be. That's definitely a Pope kind of move in the corner.
Nice finish. Fabulous job.
Nice mechanics. The only Chinese women to win a world all-around medal was a bronze. Zhang Nan did it in 2003. Severino recovered from that disaster on the bars with a nice score on the floor. Holly Dykes on the vault, 14.35.
Not bad.
Hong Soo-jong now in 10th place from the People's Republic of Korea, 10th in the all-around with a 29.45 to the bars.
Nice, Jaeger.
Oh!
That's tough. She had a beautiful routine.
Very aggressive. I like
going so far.
The North Korean team, very mysterious. There's very little information about their program. Now, in the news these days, there's very little information about what's going on in North Korea in general, but they do fantastic tricks but don't compete very often, and there's very little information about these athletes.
Huge release on her Tkachev, which caused her to have too much swing on the shoot over the low bar, and that's where this mistake actually stemmed from.
The athletes rarely give interviews, same with the coaches. There has been some scandal in their past. They were banned from the 1993 World Championships because it was discovered in 91 and 92 that they falsified the ages of some of the gymnasts. And so they were expelled from the competition. Now, Hong Soo-jong says she's 21. She doesn't look like she's 21 to me. So I'm not saying anything about her age, if it's correct or not, but there is a little bit of a history there with the North Korean team.
Very nice triple turn. You see, every skill that she's completed so far has had a solid landing. It makes it hard for the judge to take any deduction. And that's what Romania is definitely known for. They don't give much away to the judge at all.
Romanians finished 4th in the team competition here. The first time in 25 years that they did not win a team medal. They are, as I said, in a rebuilding phase.
Nice triple twist to finish the routine.
Sandra Izbasha from Bucharest, now living and training at the National Center in Deva, in the western portion of Romania.
See, their perfect landing doesn't give anything away.
And the score 15.525, very strong. $15.425 for Pan. In second place in the all-around coming into this rotation. And the young lady who is in 5th place, Jana Bieger from the United States. is preparing to go on the beam. The final two performers on the beam in this rotation will be Bieger and the all-around leader, Vanessa Ferrari. Now, these two young ladies are at a little bit of a disadvantage because they warmed up about 12-15 minutes ago on the podium. They have to wait through all these other performers and then step up and go. That adds to the pressure, don't you think?
Oh, it's very hard. And really, the only thing you can do is stay in the sidelines on the concrete and flip around, do back handsprings and jumps because there is no mats out there. But it's really all you have to keep yourself warm. It just makes the balance beam a little bit more mentally challenging.
Wow.
That was a front flip with a half twist. Very difficult skill. Because the beam, because you are twisting in midair when you're flipping, and when you have 4 inches to work with, it's not much room for error.
Typically, she's a very consistent gymnast. That's why it was uncharacteristic that she missed her vault in the team competition, because nearly all of her other scores are solid 15s and above. On beam, her two scores in the 2 days of competition were 15.125 and 15.175. Third in the U.S. Championships this year, so typically she is somebody you can count on.
That was a cool little signature skill. Standing back handspring layout, normally you'd land on your feet 1 foot at a time, and she actually lands on her knees.
Double front. Wow.
Awesome dismount.
Nicely done for American Jana Bieger.
Aerial view, like handspring layout, see that she was right on. Outstanding performance from Jana.
The Americans today doing themselves proud after the disappointment of the team competition, where they were heavily favored to win the gold, ended up with the silver behind Chinese team, but they are doing well today. Chusovitina to the floor. Get this, folks, she won the world championship on this event 15 years ago, 1991.
Oh, stellar double layout to open the routine. Comes right back with a full twisting double back. Solid landing.
Step out of bounds, 10th of a point.
Beautiful double pike dismount. Sure she's 31? Are you sure they didn't keep the birthday date on your bio?
You know, you look back and you just can't believe that someone could be that competitive for 15 years in women's gymnastics. It's just everything about her is just wonderful, and that's why she has an enormous following around the world. Originally from Tashkent, Uzbekistan, now living in Cologne, Germany. She's got a young son who's recovered from leukemia. I mean, just everything about her is just magical.
Such an inspiration.
14.875 for Chusovitina coming into this rotation. She was in 15th place in the all-around. the leader, Vanessa Ferrari. And boy, the pressure is on, with a lead of about 0.4 of a point over Pang Pan Pan coming into this performance on the beam. Ferrari is up.
The handspring full twist. Oh. That is one of the riskiest series combinations that gymnasts can perform on the balance beam.
Boy, she didn't hold back at all. Pang Pan Pan already has a great score here. 15.425. So that was likely the gold medal slipping through her hands with that fall.
Beautiful combination for an aerial sheep jump. Nice double pike dismount to finish off the routine.
Oh, you could tell she's disappointed. Boy, the quality of her gymnastics is really terrific. Unfortunate mistake, a very difficult move. Looks like she had it. What do you think? A little shorter rotation, perhaps?
A little shorter rotation, and on that skill, you have to be so careful to take off. When you jump initially for the full, you have to make sure you're exactly straight before you twist. You start to rush and twist a little early on the balance beam, that'll twist you right off as you finish the skill.
Okay, this is from an earlier performance of Steliana Nistor. Ferrari will see her score as soon as it comes up as the athletes march to their fourth and final rotation. Here are some performances that we did not see. Wow.
No,
from that rotation.
That is the way how to perform back handspring full. But literally the degree of error is so tiny. I mean, we're dealing with 4 inches here, so we're talking about ½ of an inch off, and you could be off the balance beam. Which, why this event is the make it or break it event for any competition.
For the last 25 years, 30 years or so, the Romanians have really had a handle on how to do balance beam. Mariana Bitang, their beam coach for many years, has recently retired, and yet the system still seems in place because the Romanians are very solid on beam at these championships, even without their 2 coaches, Belu and Bitang, who retired this year. Nicolae Forminte is the head coach of the Romanian program now, but the system speaks for itself. They know how to do beam. Nice.
Beautiful dismount. I know there's many gymnasts out there with beam being their favorite event, but I mean, honestly, who came up with an event 4 inches wide? Couldn't they make it 6 inches or 8 inches? Why 4?
I don't know. Go back to the history of gymnastics. The women used to perform on like benches, like locker room benches that were about 1 foot wide. I don't know who decided it should be 4 inches wide, but
benches would be fine with me. Beam might be my favorite event then.
The problem is if it were a bench, then you'd have to do a double backflip on it to be competitive.
It's true. I didn't think about that.
Ferrari 14.9 on the beam. A disappointment after that fall. We wait now the scores in this rotation. Here we go. Pang Pan Pan with a 45.65 is moved into the lead. 0.125 over Ferrari. So Ferrari could still win this thing. The Americans doing well. Jana Bieger tied for third with Daria Jura. The 2 Romanians, Nistor and Izbasha. Ashley Priest, 7th. Holly Dykes has dropped to 8th place. the final rotation here. Chinese gymnast Pang Pan has the lead. The Chinese have won every gold medal so far. Men's team, women's team, men's all around. Very exciting to see in this final rotation who will come out with the gold. The separation between first and second is just 125 thousandths of a point. Let's just say that's close.
Very close, especially with the new code.
Yeah, the separations tend to be bigger with these scores, which are larger. You're right. We're glad you're joining us live here on WCSN, the World Championships Sports Network, home of the World Champions. We are live, folks, from Aarhus, Denmark. I'm Bart Connor, along with world medalist Tasha Schweiker. And we are getting set for the fourth and final rotation in the women's all-around competition. Incredible week of gymnastics coverage, groundbreaking coverage here on WCSN. 18 hours of live competition. We have 2 more days to go. Tomorrow we have the individual event finals for the men and women. For the men, we'll see floor, horse, and rings. For the women, vault and bars. And on Saturday, we'll see the individual event finals for the women on beam and floor, and for the men on vault, parallel bars, and high bars. So a lot more medals to be given out from Denmark.
I'm going to be honest, Bart, watching this World Championships is really hitting the heart for me. It kind of makes me want to be out there again.
Okay, I'm slowly kind of dragging you back into this. Not my goal here, I want you to know, but just so you know, your fellow commentator, Blaine Wilson, did see this meet and announced he's coming back, so something to consider. Of course, you're at UCLA training and competing with UCLA. You have 2 more years of eligibility.
Yes.
As a UCLA Bruin.
Started my junior year.
Quick recap on the scores. Pan with a 45.65. She's leading Vanessa Ferrari by .125. They will be competing on their final event. The vault coming up in this rotation. Daria Jura, Australia, and Jana Beger tied for 3rd at this point. Competition continues. On the floor, Steliana Nistor of Romania. She is currently in 5th place. And she's 25 thousandths of a point behind Jura and Beger, so she has a chance at a medal if she can be solid here on the floor.
Solid performance so far. Steliana has some unique dance. And the last pass with a 2.5 twists. Nice job.
She scores typically in that mid 14-point range, 14.325 in the qualifying, 14.45 in the team final. Here's quite a moment for this young lady. Daria Jura finds herself tied for 3rd going into this final rotation. And there is that signature salute that says, "Hello, look at me."
Nice, Yurchenko, 1.5 twists.
Beautiful. She never quite completely stopped either, but she sold it to the judges, I think. What do you think?
Oh, I agree. Performance quality gets an A++. You see there, too, she doesn't look so sure about the landing, but she throws her arms up and says, "Hey, judge, you're not taking this from me."
You got to love her attitude. Daria Jura, tied for third right now. Hippolito now on the bars for Brazil.
Nice routine so far for Danielle. Just the dismount left. That was a great routine for her. Hippolito isn't typically known for her bars, but that was a nice job.
'17th in the all-around coming into the final rotation. Really known for her floor exercise work especially. Isabel Severino to close out her competition. 15.925 would move her into the lead. That's a little deceiving because the top performers have yet to go, but that gives her a mark to shoot for. Wow.
Beautiful Yurchenko, 1.5. It was a great
control
landing.
On the landing, right.
See her, she's real aggressive into the horse. Gets great height and distance and form too. Nice pointed toes in the air and just nails it into the ground. She should be very happy with that one.
Spent a lot of time with her last year. She was living in the U.S. working on the movie Stick It, which was a Disney release last year about gymnastics. Very popular and successful. Daria Jura, 14.5, is currently second place in the all-around. But some of the stars are yet to go. But she did her part. Congratulations to her and the team from Australia. They're missing their best gymnast, Monette Rousseau, who won the bronze medal at last year's World Championships in Melbourne, Australia. So any medal for Australia here today would be a huge success. Here is your leader in the all-around by 125 thousandths of a point over Vanessa Ferrari. Pang, Pan, Pan. 14.3 to go into the lead. What a disappointment. And she had it.
That's tough. Coming onto the horse looks great. Nice entrance. Just needed a little bit more power off the table. Technically, it was wonderful. A little bit more juice coming off that table, especially being such a small one like her.
That judged out of a 5.8 difficulty value. Technique looked pretty good. Not quite enough power, but still she could have made it. Oh, that's a shame. And you can see it in her face. Well, The top two gymnasts have both made a mistake. Ferrari fell from the beam, on the vault, so basically it's apples to apples. Can Ferrari hit her vault? She still has a chance to win this whole thing, even after a fall on the beam. We'll wait to see how the scores shake out.
Beautiful. Stalled her work. Nice finger.
Christina Pravdina is just 50. Oh, no. Missed that handstand. Now she's improvising big time.
It's one thing to miss the big skills, but when you miss a skill like a handstand or a pirouette, it's just...
kills you.
It kills you, and especially your mental game.
She is the youngest competitor at these championships. You might relate to this, Tasha. She's eligible for competition by 3 days because she'll turn 16 on December 28th. If it weren't until next year, she would be too young to compete. She just makes it by 3 days. You were born how many weeks early?
I was born almost 2 months early.
Which allowed you to be age eligible for the 2000 Olympics in Sydney. I'm not sure your parents had that in mind when you were coming around, but...
No. I wasn't even supposed to be a gymnast. I was supposed to be a professional tennis player like my mother.
I think you would have succeeded in that as well. Oh! Beth Tweddle, we saw her really unfortunate performance on the bar, so it'd be nice if she can finish up strong on floor here. 10th place coming into the final rotation in the all-around here.
Arabian double pike for her second pass. That was kind of cool. Usually gymnasts perform that with a tucked leg position. She did it with a pike. Adds a little more difficulty and flair to the floor exercise. Finishes off with a beautiful 2.5 twist punch front full. Very nice job, just a little step out of bounds on the first pass. But other than that, stellar performance.
Well, you talk about a close all-around competition. The top 7 athletes are separated by 0.45, less than a half a point. And under the new rules, that is an extremely close competition. So all of those little minor details that we were talking about are really going to play a factor. Pan has dropped to third with that 14.025 on vault. So the Chinese young lady will not have a gold medal to go with her team gold medal in the women's team competition.
Oksana Chusvitsina with her handspring front full in the layout position. This is extremely hard vault. You see the difficulty of 5.9.
She qualified 4th to the vault final. Last year she was a silver medalist at the World Championships on vault using this vault.
Another factor which makes that vault so hard is that it's a completely blind landing. You're coming onto the horse forward, flipping and twisting through the air and landing basically on your cow-like instincts.
All right, she's happy with her effort. Jana Bieger will be next. Boy, this young lady, talk about springs. She can get off the floor. The U.S. team is a very explosive team with Chelsea Memmel, Alicia Sacramone. They're all very, very strong. Quick reminder on the all-around coming into this rotation. Pan, the leader. We saw her make a mistake on the vault. Vanessa Ferrari in second place. She's coming up shortly on the floor after Beeger. Daria Jura, she hit her routine. She was tied with Beeger for third coming into this. You see the score she needs to go to the lead. 14.
Beautiful double layout to open the routine. Yana comes back with a front full step up.
Nice.
Ground off back handspring to a triple twist. Nicely done. There's a lot of energy in the arena, and you again can hear the crowd in the background clapping to Yana's floor music.
Nice. You know, it's interesting. We started today with kind of a downer that Chelsea Memmel had pulled out of the competition, not knowing what to expect, and yet we are seeing a thrilling all-around battle. It's going to come down to the final landing of the final gymnast.
Yana setting up for her last pass. And she nails it.
Way to go.
Outstanding performance.
The 16-year-old from Coconut Creek, Florida, nails it when she needed to. How about that? Mother coach Andrea happy about that. She scored a 15.25 in qualifying, 15.15 in the team final, so look for her to get a terrific score for that performance on floor. To the ball quickly, Ju Zhou.
Yurchenko 1.5 twist. Lands just a little low, and the amplitude and distance might not have been there. You can see it again in the replay. A little low in the landing, and just not as dynamic as she would have liked.
She was in 9th place coming into this final rotation. She is in 8th place as a result of that 14.3 for that vault score. There is Vanessa Ferrari in second coming into this. We wait for the score. Yana Beeger surely will move into the lead with a 15.375, 60.75 the total. Congratulations to her. Mary Lee Tracy, the coach of the U.S. team here, congratulating her. Vanessa Ferrari fell from the beam, which loaded up the pressure of her on her performance here on floor. She would be in what would be considered a pretty comfortable lead had she not fallen. She still has a chance to win this whole thing, but remember, Ashley Priest will go as well. Nice.
Vanessa opens up with a double twisting, double back. Amazing. Second pass comes back with a full in, stuck landing.
European Championships this year, she was second place, but she only scored 14.275 qualifying here in this event.
Triple twist for the third pass. Nice landing.
Such precise technique. Good form.
Combination pass. This is it. Last tumbling run. Finishes with a beautiful double pike stuck landing. I don't see much they can take away from her, Bart.
Way to go, Vanessa Ferrari.
It's one thing to land the skill and step out of it and finish. Vanessa decides to just stick and not have her feet move at all.
What a moment for her and her coach Enrico Casella. The music was Nessun Dorma, which means no one sleeps. Made famous by Pavarotti. Exciting to see that stellar combination of tumbling and dance presentation and choreography. To the ball quickly.
Beautiful Yurchenko double twist. One of the nicer ones we've seen tonight.
He's Basha in 6th place coming into this final rotation. Everyone bunched together very closely. That moves her to 2nd with a 15.025. We wait to score for Vanessa Ferrari. No one's more interested in seeing it than her. It's funny, your coaches often tell you to don't pay attention to the scores, just focus on what you're doing. But when the meet's over, no one's more interested in what those numbers are than you. She needs a 15.225 to go to the lead. Did she get it? No Italian woman has ever won a world championship medal. This could be historic. In 2005, she won the all-around in the Mediterranean Games, but folks, that's not the world championship. She's going to get it. Vanessa Ferrari with a 61.025. Goes into the lead.
Oh, man.
Isn't this wonderful?
Ashley Priest getting set for the floor.
Now here's where her standing. She needs a 15.825 to go into the lead. Priest in 7th place, but less than 3.5 tenths behind Ferrari coming into this final performance. It's going to be hard to beat Vanessa Ferrari, but Ashley Priest.
This is one of Ashley's strong events.
Awesome on this event.
Opens up with a pikeful in. Flawless landing.
Oh, no!
Ashley going for a third pass. Nice combination pass. That's unfortunate. This routine has been flawless.
She's so good. She's so fun to watch. That was really uncharacteristic, that fall.
Yeah, up to that second pass. And you see how she had the entire arena clapping with her and behind her, this floor team. Beautiful dismount.
Oh, disappointment for Ashley Priest. She did go for it.
She went for it.
As you can see, the Italian delegation celebrating. Vanessa Ferrari will win the gold. That's a guarantee. We do not yet know the final two medalists. It's likely Jana Bieger from the United States gets a medal as well. We're waiting on the final tabulations of the score.
Here's the replay of her 2.5 twist punch front layout. You can see when she started the twist, she actually had too much rotation right here, dipped her shoulders back. And if you lean back too far, with the momentum of the twisting, it flips you, and wasn't in the right position to set up for the punch front layout.
A lot of smiles from the Italian delegation. Never has an Italian woman won a world championship medal, and guess what, folks? It is going to be gold for 15-year-old Vanessa Ferrari. She is somebody to watch out for in next year's World Championships and the Olympic Games in Beijing. She should be getting even better by then. She has the explosive power of an acrobat, the technique, and the artistry of an artist.
I don't know about you, Bart, but I'm very proud of Ashley Priest.
No kidding.
The last second getting called up, she did an outstanding job. Didn't hold back.
That's a tough position to be in. She was very aggressive throughout the competition. Just about tasted a medal, which is probably the disappointing side of it, but she has to be proud of her aggressive effort. 15.825 for the lead. We won't see that, of course. The American women disappointed by the silver medal finish after being heavy favorites coming into the team competition. Injuries to Nastia Liukin, Chelsea Memel, the number 1 and 2 gymnasts in the world. They're on the sidelines here because of ankle injuries and shoulder injuries. So that's just a testimony to the depth of the American program right now, because the 2 best gymnasts in the world in the stands, and 2 other gymnasts step up to contend for medals. Ashley Priest with a 13.6 will drop to 10th place. Jana Bieger waits the final scores. Bruno Grande, the head of the International Gymnastics Federation, who happens to be an Italian. Pretty proud of Vanessa Ferrari. The most successful gymnast in history for Italy, Yuri Kecki, 5-time world champion and Olympic champion on the rings. The fiery redhead had won many medals for the Italian team in world and Olympic competition, and years before him, people like Menecheli and others brought great fame to the Italian men's program, but never has an Italian woman won a world championship medal. borrowing a page from track and field stars who take one victory lap around the track. Vanessa Ferrari taking a victory lap for Italy. So we know so far it won't be a sweep for China. They won the men's team, the women's team, the men's all-around. And there you go, folks. Vanessa Ferrari gets the gold. Jana Beger from the United States to silver. And Romania's Sandra Izbasha, a half a point behind her in third. Steliana Nistor of Romania, fourth. Ashley Priest from the United States, 10th. Tasha Schweikert, your impressions of what we saw today. I had a good time.
I had a wonderful time, Bart. Saw some huge gymnastics. I'm very impressed with all the athletes tonight. I say no one held back tonight. Everyone went big, and all in all, it was a great competition.
I have to admit, at the top of the show, we were somewhat disappointed because we're not seeing Chelsea Memo, we're not seeing Nastia Liukin, but we did see a great contest. Perhaps the field was a little thin in terms of quality of gymnasts because several are on the sidelines with injuries. The best Russian, the best Australian, two best Americans, but that didn't take away from the excitement of the contest that we saw.
Not at all. And like I said yesterday, I'm very impressed with America's program. We have our two best girls on the sidelines, and still we can really put in someone from at least our top handful of girls and be in medal contention. And like saw Jana earning the silver tonight, that says a lot for our country's depth.
Vanessa Ferrari has to be happy after a fall from the beam on a very difficult move. I thought it was over for her, and who knew that Pang Pan from China would stumble on a vault that normally would be a walk in the park for her and open the door wide up for this explosive and sassy young lady. Let's take a look at Vanessa Ferrari, clean on the vault, focused on the bars. Notice she doesn't even wear leather hand guards. Those are gauze strips on her hands. No grips. She's the world champ. Talk about not holding back. She went for a difficult combination on beam, and it cost her. She did fall. Flip-flop. Backflip for the full twist. Something about the quality of her gymnastics that you like, Tasha?
I love how Vanessa's very aggressive with finesse and polish. You don't see too many gymnasts out there who have power, who have quickness, and who have flexibility all in one. And on top of all that, great performance quality, engages the audience into all our routines. That's a lot of it right there.
The head coach of the Italian team said before the competition, we know some of our best gymnasts are home with injuries, so we're hoping for a respectable result and to build on a little momentum towards the next year's World Championships and the eventual Olympics in Beijing, China. I think in the back of their mind they were hoping that Vanessa Ferrari might have a shot at an all-around medal, but that's the beauty of sports. She delivered when it mattered most. And Vanessa Ferrari, at just 15 years of age, is the new world all-around champion. She'll turn 16 on the 10th of November. You have been watching the 39th Artistic Gymnastics World Championships live from Aarhus, Denmark on WCSN, the World Championship Sports Network. So proud to be seeing live gymnastics coverage 18 hours of groundbreaking coverage here on WCSN all week long. We have 2 more days of coverage. Tomorrow, the individual event finals. First 3 events for the men, first 2 events for the women. And Saturday, final day of competition, the individual event finals with the final 3 events for the men and the final 2 for women. Gymnastics in many ways is a very Eurocentric sport. 4,200 people on hand here, but a very knowledgeable gymnastics crowd typically when you go to an event in Europe. Tasha, you competed several times in Europe. Is it a little bit different atmosphere than, say, the Anaheim Pond?
It's very different. I feel like, well, obviously in Anaheim there was more people because it was World Championships in our country, but you know, Europeans, I feel like the audience knows a lot more what's going on. I'm sure that has a lot to do with where gymnastics started and where our stars came from. Like your wife.
Oh yeah, she was pretty good.
European descent.
Yeah, the history of gymnastics goes back hundreds of years to Jim Turner organizations in Germany and the Czech Republic. Local organizations.
Number 7 from Australia, Holly Dykes.
Holly Dykes having a good day until that unfortunate fall.
6
stumble on the vault.
From China,
and a little weak difficulty level on the floor. Pon. Acknowledged for her work today. As is Daria Jura from Australia.
Third place and winner of the bronze medal,
Teliana Nistor from Romania in 4th place. And an exciting day for the Romanian program, as I mentioned, in very much a transition phase, hoping just to get through these World Championships however they best can with the women. To finish out of the medals for the first time in 25 years in the team competition, but to score a medal in the all-around. Well done for Sandra Izbasha.
Second place and winner of the silver medal is Jana Biga.
Great moment for the American program. A silver medal in the team competition. Now a silver medal in the all-around. Jana Biga. Her mother, a great Olympian from Germany. Andrea, who is also her coach, must be extremely proud to see her daughter standing up there about to accept a silver medal. Jana competed at the 2005 World Championships on uneven bars, qualified 7. But she couldn't compete in the final because she was the 3rd American qualifier. When you have Chelsea Memel and Nastia Liukin on your bar team, it's hard to break anywhere into the lineup. But the day belongs to Vanessa Ferrari, the 15-year-old from Italy. And she's going to share it with her whole country. I know what picture will be on the cover of the Italian newspapers tomorrow.
The medals will be presented by gold, Nelly Kim, President of the Women's Technical Committee and the International Gymnastics Federation. Silver, Ninan Yang, Vice President of the Women's Technical Committee of the International Gymnastics Federation. Bronze, Marianne Holmsmüller, Managing Director of the Organizing Committee. Ours are presented Manager, Sport Event, Aarhus.
You see, the awards are being presented by Nellie Kim, the president of the Women's Technical Committee of International Gymnastics Federation, the great Olympic world champion from the former Soviet Union. She herself scored perfect tens in competition. In fact, at the '76 Olympics in Montreal, she scored 2 perfect tens.
Please rise for the national anthem of Italy.
This has never happened before in women's gymnastics competition at the World Championships. The Italian national anthem. Gold medal for Vanessa Ferrari. You know, you come to the World Gymnastics Championships, you're used to hearing the U.S., Chinese, Romanian, and Russian national anthems. I'm sure when the organizers realized that Vanessa Ferrari won, they're like, hey, who's got that Italian tape? We haven't played that national anthem ever at the World Championship competition. Great day at these World Championships. Any final thoughts from you, Tasha, about what we just saw?
I'm so happy for Vanessa and being so young to be a world champion. And, you know, I think it's great that smaller countries that are not so known at their gymnastics abilities can break in and, you know, win a world championship.
Well, I appreciate you being with us, and I look forward to working with you the next couple of days on the individual event finals. For Tasha Schweikert, my name is Bart Connor. Thank you for joining us for this groundbreaking live coverage on WCSN from the 2006 Artistic Gymnastics World Championships. Tomorrow for the individual event finals and again on Saturday. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon.